Oh, hello, Ruth.
Say, do you know your sweetie's going to work late tonight?
Yes, I know. Thanks.
Oh, Pete, Sydney's working overtime.
Thanks.
Oh, hello, Pete.
Hello.
Did you know that...
Everybody knows that. Sydney's working late tonight. Hello, handsome.
Hello, Pete.
2 ham sandwiches and make one an extra special.
Is the extra special for you?
No, for Sydney. So shoot the works.
Say, Pete.
Well, well, if it ain't the little old Girl Scout back again on the same old trail.
Have you heard the latest about this building?
No, what?
Yesterday, a man jumped off the 102nd floor.
He did? What happened to him?
We don't know. He hasn't landed yet.
But she can't even tell the time.
Say, Pete, since we go the same way, how about escorting each other home,
Sorry, kid, but I'm going to stick here and wait for Sydney.
Oh, I keep forgetting you're stuck.
What do you mean, stuck?
Well, you've been engaged to the same girl for 3 years. That's being stuck, isn't it?
Not if the girl is Sydney.
Say, Pete, maybe you don't know it, but you're in a rut. Why don't you give yourself a break? Take a night off.
You know me, good old faithful Pete.
Might change your luck.
What's use of changing it if you can't improve it?
Ouch! Oh, I'm so sorry. Why, hello, Pete.
Hello, funny face.
Say, it's getting so that 2 people can't neck in public without being stepped on.
Snooper.
Here's your sandwiches, Pete.
Keep the change.
There isn't any change.
What's the matter?
Well, that blonde never misses a chance. I suppose she thinks you're pretty hot stuff.
Well, she's right, isn't she? Ain't I known as Pete the It Man? Why, I have a way of exciting women so much that they lie down and beg me to walk over them. Why, I'm the guy that put the it in idiot. Well, I say, listen, kid. There isn't anybody within 1,000 miles of you. If she were platinum from head to toe, and her father was Rockefeller and her mother was the Queen of Romania, she'd still be a headache to me.
Well, it isn't that I'm jealous. I just don't like it, that's all. And as for that blonde, I'd kill her if I knew what to do with the body.
Atta baby. Always comes up wisecracking.
Isn't this swell?
A swell sandwich.
No, I mean New York. At our feet.
Nice little village. Not much excitement, but the home life is good.
I wonder if other people feel about each other the way we do.
No. This is the first time in history 2 people have ever been in love.
Oh, Pete. I wish you were more
Romantic.
Yeah?
I'll never forget the night you asked me to marry you.
Coney Island romance.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Coney Island.
Remember we sat on the sand and watched the lights of Brighton Beach?
And the jazz band was playing. A cup of coffee, a sandwich, and you. And then I made up a poem about you. Darn good if I do say so. Want me to recite it?
No, but you will.
You're right. Listen, Sidney, to your Pete. I think you're awfully sweet. Honestly, I mean it, Sid. You are just the candy kid. And if you'll marry me, we'll be one. And I'll be a happy son of a gun. Romantic enough for you?
And then you proposed to me.
And told you that if you took me, that's about all you'd get.
That's all I want. Where's your pay envelope?
Oh, here it is. Go as far as you like. Buy yourself jewels, cars, pearls, anything your little heart desires.
Sure you didn't gyp anything out of this?
And be yourself. How could I with a Scotch lassie like you hanging around my neck?
Here's your mother's share. Here's your car fare, lunch, and cigarettes. And here's the $6 for our marriage fund. And with the extra $2 I get for a night, that makes $8 saved this week. Correct?
Yeah. But it don't seem as if we'd ever get anywhere with this saving racket. If we could only get some coin that we could keep.
We could afford to get married right now if your mother'd only come and live with us. You know, if you didn't have her place to keep up, too.
Yeah. Well, my mother's independence and your mother's bills would go to the altar in wheelchairs.
Going down?
Oh, I gotta get back to work. Oh, I beg your pardon.
What on earth's that?
That's my wife.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake.
No, mine.
John? What time do you be home?
Oh, about 9.
Sydney home yet, Mother?
No, and don't call me Mother.
All right, sweetheart. Sydney never gets home anymore till after Amos and Andy. 12 hours is a long stretch for a girl. Gee, I sure got a tough day ahead of me tomorrow.
For 20 years, I've been listening to you tell me you got a tough day tomorrow.
Well, I gotta sell a $1,000 policy to an old dame with a hair lip. She tries to vamp me sometimes.
So you're a hit with the old ladies, are you?
Jealous?
I wouldn't care what you did if you sold a little insurance sometimes.
Well, I do the best I can, Elsie. But I never seem to get a decent lead from the office.
Of course you don't. They give all those to the live wires.
Oh, is that so? Maybe I better complain to the manager. What do you think?
I quit thinking when I married you.
Well, I suppose it is up to me to do the thinking for both of us.
Well, then get busy and dope out a way to pay these bills.
Oh, don't show me any bills tonight.
Well, you've got to face them sometime.
What's this $30 item?
Why, that's this negligee that I've got on. You told me to buy it. Don't you remember?
Did I? $146 and...
Oh, my headache. It's killing me.
Oh, that's too bad. Fever, dear?
No. Go away, will you?
Now, wait till I fix this for you here. Come on now. Come on. Lie back. I'm boss, you know.
Leave me alone, will you? And see what you can do about those bills.
Well, there's only one thing to do. I'll have to ask Sidney to help us out again.
Hey, Pete. Hey, you big mug. Oh, pardon me, Mrs. Piper.
Oh, it's you.
Is Pete in?
No, he isn't. I don't know where he is. I told him he ought to come home for a change and talk to me. As I always say, a man's best friend is his mother. But ever since he met you, Sidney, the poor mother bird has been forsaken.
Have you seen Mr. Beardsley since the funeral?
No, he hasn't come home yet. You know, Sidney, Mr. Beardsley's wife was buried today. I had such a good cry. Poor Mr. Beardsley, he's going to miss his wife terribly.
You miss mostly the chance to sock her on the jaw. Ooh, how they used to fight. We could hear them down the air shaft.
I beg your pardon, but that was only when he was drinking. You've got to give him credit for that.
But he did sock her.
Yes, but it wasn't on the jaw. It was on the nose. Poor soul, it cost her a small fortune in beauty doctors. Well, perhaps I shouldn't say a small fortune, but it must have been nearly that. 2 or 3 times she had to have her nose straightened.
Then Mr. Beardsley come right home and flatten it out again.
Well, I always say that at heart he's a perfect gentleman. Shh. Here comes Mr. Beardsley now.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Beardsley.
Thank you, Sidney. Thank you very much, my girl.
Oh, Mr. Beardsley, I was just saying how terribly you're going to miss your wife. I felt so sorry for you when I saw you at the funeral.
You should have seen me at the grave.
Will you please stop rocking?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello, Mr. Jarvis. Did you have a good rest?
Yeah, thank you.
Going out?
Just for a breath of air. So long.
100. Has he paid his room rent?
Of course. I don't know what we'd do without his extra $8 a week.
Hello, Miss Sidney.
Hello, Mr. Jarvis. Hello, Mom. Hello, Paul.
How's my baby? Subway crowded?
Was it? I made a lot of close acquaintances. If one of those guys had gotten any more intimate, you'd have to make him marry me, Dad. Oh. A new negligee, Mother?
What of it?
Oh, nothing, only. You look adorable in it. Doesn't she, Willie?
Sure.
I wish I had your soft golden hair.
You were always like your father, in every way. Never like me.
Don't let that get you down, Willie.
I won't.
Has Pete been here?
Not yet.
Oh, my dear, don't tell me you're going to have him here again tonight.
Why, sure.
If he ever took you out, I think I'd die of heart failure.
Pete can't afford to spend money on me.
No, of course he can't. He only makes about $20 a week, doesn't he?
Oh, but when you're in love like we are, the weeks pass so quickly.
Well, if you think there's any future in Pete, you're dumber than I thought you were.
Oh, gee, Mother, you're always making dirty cracks about Pete.
Oh, Sidney, your mother has a nervous headache.
Well, for 3 years I stood for sarcastic remarks from my so-called friends, but I can't stand it from my own mother.
If you had my headache.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I'll get you some tea. Oh, gee, Mother, you forgot to do the dishes again.
You shouldn't have said that, Mother.
What?
About Pete. You don't even try to understand what she's up against. Maybe it's not in you to understand. But can't you see the utter hopelessness of waiting all these years for a man drawing down a rotten salary, half of which he has to spend to support his mother?
Perhaps it's because I do see. But I want something better for Sidney.
I know, but it's so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yes, the way they stick together. Saving their nickels, trying to get a little home of their own. And you got to remember, we've done the same thing ourselves.
Sure. And what did it get me? Nothing.
No wonder we got so many roaches around here. Where's the bug powder, Ma?
It doesn't do any good. The people upstairs have been sending the same roaches down here so many years, I'm beginning to recognize them.
Oh, my head. Oh, never mind, Mom. I'll have everything cleaned up in a jiffy. And after that, I'll run your bath for you, Willie.
Thank you, dear.
Sure. She'll run the bath for you without complaining. But then you're her father. Anybody would think I was nothing but the cook around here.
Not after a couple of your meals, dear.
I baked those biscuits with my own hands tonight.
Yeah? Who helped you lift them out of the oven?
See if that's my sister, will you?
Sure. Yeah, that's Florence. Shall I call her in?
No, I'll go out to her.
Hello, Elsie. What did you want to see me about?
Florence, I want you to do something for me, like you did before. Just let us meet at your house, and...
No, Elsie. I told you the last time I'd never do that again.
You've got to, Flo. Do you hear?
No, I don't approve of it. I told you when you took him into your own home as a boarder, I was through.
What's the matter with Mother? Well, she seems so nervous and strange. Have you had some words with her?
A few. She had most of them.
What about?
Same old complaint, money.
Why don't you tell her who's boss?
I did, but she won't take my word for it.
Oh, I'll get it, Willie. Hello? Yes? Is that you, Petey?
Well, sure it's your Petey, unless you got another boyfriend. Say, I got the swellest surprise for you.
You wouldn't fool me about that, would you? Say, listen, Petey, let's meet on the bridge.
I thought I was coming to your house. What's the matter?
Oh, nothing really, only Ma's got a headache. Sure, just as soon as I finish the dishes. Bye.
You run along to Pete. I'll finish up here.
Sure you don't mind?
No.
Oh, you're a dear, Willie.
I deserve something out of life, don't I? You've always had everything. I've had nothing. It's come to me when I'm nearly 40 instead of 20. My last chance for some happiness.
Then why don't you have a square talk with Willie and be honest about it?
Oh, I'm afraid. He's such a sap that he'd let Sidney worm it out of him and stop me. Florence, if you don't...
No, I won't.
Shh. It's all off for tomorrow night. She won't stand for it. But we've got to get together somehow. Go down to the drive and meet me at our bench. Oh, yes, Mr. Jarvis, I'll be glad to. Oh, Sidney, Mr. Jarvis lost his latchkey, and I told him that you'd lend him yours.
Oh, why, of course.
Well, thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
I'm off to keep a date with my boyfriend. There's a nice cup of tea waiting for you inside, and I hope it'll make your head better. So long, Mother, darling.
Hi, kid.
What's the surprise you got for me?
That tune you're so crazy about?
Oh, great. All the world will smile again. Say, wait a minute, young fella. What right have you to spend 40 cents when we're saving every penny for the marriage fund?
It didn't have nothing to do with the marriage fund.
Didn't have anything.
Hey, listen, Dumbbell, I went to school.
No one'd ever know it.
Was that so? Want to hear me spell eucalyptus?
Now, never mind the wisecrack. Come on, tell Mama. Where'd you get the money to buy this with?
I had it.
I know you had it, but where'd you get it?
I saved it.
Saved it?
Yeah, I cut out smoking cigarettes for a week. You know they're...
Oh, you went without cigarettes a whole week. Just to buy me a song.
Oh, forget it, will you?
I don't want you to make sacrifices like this for me, you big mug.
Cut it out, will you?
Oh, you mustn't do it, Pete. Darling, we've waited so long for our happiness. Don't let's wait any longer.
Well, what are we going to do?
Well, we could get married and go on living just as we do now.
No. There's only one kind of marriage for me. To support my wife in our own home. And it won't be long now, either.
Why?
Do you remember that salesman I told you about that had TV?
Yeah?
Well, he's kicked off. Poor devil. And I'm going to see the boss tomorrow and ask him to let me have the job. And all our troubles will be over.
Supposing you get the job, what does it pay?
What does it pay? Huh. 40 smackerinos a week in commissions.
$40 a week in commissions? Well, we could grab that little flat we looked at. It's so little it would be easy to furnish. And we've got my hope chest to start with.
That's a heck of a start.
And that lace tablecloth I made. Gee, it would look swell on a table.
Yeah, if I could make a table.
Oh, it's just a dream of a flat.
Just a dream.
Oh, why can't we dream? Maybe if we dream hard enough, it might come true. Supposing the wedding were to be next week.
Yeah, supposing.
The organ playing softly. And you're standing near the altar. And everything's quiet. And then you look up and see the bride, all in white, with a bunch of orange blossoms, coming slowly down the aisle to meet you.
Please, Sidney. What's the use?
Well, why can't we dream? It doesn't cost us anything.
I know. But it just makes it so much tougher for us, kid. We'll go crazy dreaming and thinking about something we can't have. Gee. Over 3 years of it.
We seem to be gazing blankly at the moon above. Please pardon us, we're in love. If we seem to do...
Did you write that piece?
Never mind the wisecracks. Things are going to be different after tomorrow. I'm going to see the boss and get that job.
Of course you will.
Darling, how long will it take you to get that money?
Not so long. Pretty soon now. Only when I'm ready to pull out, you'll have to step on it. You will, won't you?
Yes. That'll be better. To go away first, and then get the divorce. Oh, Mal, why were we cheated of each other? Why couldn't we have met when we were both young and free? Look out. You've got to be careful.
What'd the boss say?
I'll tell you later.
Subway?
No, bus. I need air.
Oh, all right, darling. Aren't you going to say something? I don't care what's happened. I know you're clever and smart.
Sure, but the boss hasn't noticed it.
Was it as bad as all that?
Worse.
Well, what'd he say?
He just let me talk and talk and talk. When I finished, he just said, good night.
Why, I can't understand it. You said he seemed to like you.
I thought he did, but I guess I was wrong. $40 a week in commissions. I'm a go-getter, I am.
Oh, never mind, darling. Something may come of it yet. And if it doesn't, it isn't your fault.
Gee, what's wrong with me anyway?
Nothing, darling. I'll tell you what, Petey. I'll talk to your mother again tonight. Maybe she'll come and live with us. Oh, come on. Snap out of it. Come on.
Come in. Oh, hello, Mrs. Piper.
Hello, Willie.
Sit down.
Thank you. Where's your wife?
She's playing bridge over at Mrs. Gorham's.
Why, I thought I saw Mrs. Oh, is Pete here?
No.
It's late, and I get so lonely without him. There's no love like a mother's, and yet how quickly our children forget. Oh, by the way, I just stopped in to see Mr. Beardsley.
Mr. Beardsley?
Yes, works in the chewing gum factory, you know. He lives right across the hall from us. You know his wife died. Nearly tickled him to death.
What, his wife dying?
No, my stopping in. By the way, here's some chewing gum he gave me. You know, I used to hate that stuff. Thought people looked like cows. But Mr. Beardsley's always finding some new kind of a flavor that he's bringing me. Oh, by the way, he's been doing some research work. You know, invented a new flavor, a secret formula, he calls it, putting a clove taste in chewing gum. Oh, and the big idea is they're not going to sell it in candy stores, but in speakeasies. And there are over 3 million of them in New York City alone.
Well, I don't see how they can bottle chewing gum.
They don't bottle it. Oh, really, you? Oh, and you see, when they go home, if they chew this stuff, nobody will ever know they've had a thing to drink. Oh, and he's got a great idea for the slogan, you know, for the advertising. It takes the breath away. Oh, by the way, Willie, could you let me have a little money?
How little?
$100.
$100?
Uh-huh.
You know, I only work for the Prudential. I'm not at the head of it, you know.
Well, I want you to invest it in that clove chewing gum. Mr. Beardsley says you'll double your money in no time.
Yeah?
Yes. Pete invested 100.
He did?
Yes. He was saving it for an engagement ring, but I bothered him so much he finally let me have the money.
Oh, good evening, Mrs. Piper.
Good evening, Sidney.
Hello, Mom.
Oh, Petey, darling.
Waiting for Mrs. Piper's boy?
Oh, here you are. Well, aren't you going to kiss me?
Oh, sure.
There was a time when I didn't have to ask for your kisses. However, in the last few years, I've become more or less used to dividing your affections. I mustn't be jealous, must I?
Oh, I'm so glad to find you here, Mrs. Piper. You see, Pete and I've got something to ask you.
Oh, not now.
Oh, but it's awfully important to us.
No, dear, I haven't got time now. I got so lonesome, I thought maybe you'd come right back home with me. I'm sure Sidney won't mind if you devote yourself to me for one night. Will you, Sidney?
Why, of course I won't.
That's right, dear, and I'll get you some hot milk and put you to bed. Oh, wait a minute. Seems to me I gave the last of that milk to the cat.
Oh, I can let you have some.
Oh, can you, dear? Thank you. Oh, Willie. I suppose you think I'm crazy following Pete around like this, but I've always been afraid to be alone in the dark. Somehow it seems to get worse as time goes on. All alone in that flat with nobody there but the cat. And dark coming on. I suppose I'm a fool.
Did anyone ever dispute that?
Oh, Willie, you are a cut-up.
There you are.
Oh, thank you, dear. You see, I've always taken such good care of Pete.
Sidney will take good care of me, Mom, if I ever give her the chance.
Oh, I've got a chance right now.
Lip rouge.
Don't shoot, Mom. I'm going to marry the girl.
You must have put it there.
Afraid she did, Mom.
You know, there is a limit to all that sort of thing. I'm not prudish, but there is a time when it becomes indecent.
Oh, now, Mom, please don't start anything.
It's worse than indecent. It's immoral. Absolutely.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Mrs. Piper, have some sense.
How dare you talk to me like that? Are you going to stand there and let this girl insult me?
Sidney didn't mean to insult you, Mom.
Yes, she did. And it's because she's jealous of me.
Why in heck should Sidney be jealous of you?
Because she is, that's why. I've spent my whole life in bringing you up, taking care of you, trying to make you happy. I've sacrificed everything.
Not everything, Mrs. Piper.
Yes, everything. There's nothing I haven't done or wouldn't do.
Oh, if you really mean that, if you do feel that way at all, won't you change your mind and come and live with Pete and me so we can be married?
Yeah, Mom. Wouldn't you do that?
No, I couldn't do that. I've told you before I couldn't bear to be a figurehead in somebody else's home.
It would be your home first of all.
I doubt it. After you got through making Pete jump through the hoop, I wouldn't have any home. I'd just be a charity guest.
Now, why don't you talk that way, Mrs. Piper? You know darn well...
I know very well that ever since you met Pete, you've done nothing but poison his mind against me.
That's a downright lie.
Sidney.
Well, she ought to know, and she does know that I'd die before I'd say one word that'd turn you against her.
Oh, Sidney, honey.
I'm sorry I lost my temper, Mrs. Piper. Honest, I am.
And you're sorry you lost yours, too, aren't you, Mom?
Well, if Sidney will apologize for accusing me of selfishness because I happen to want a home of my own.
All right, Mrs. Piper. I apologize.
You see? Everything is Jake now, isn't it?
You know I'm right. Yes, I guess you are. We'd never get along together anyway. Inside of a month, we'd be tearing each other's hair out. I'm not that kind of a person.
Oh,
I
now,
never pulled anyone's hair out.
Mom.
Pete'd have to be taking sides just like he's doing now.
No, I wouldn't.
You couldn't do anything else, dear. I guess I waited too long for my happiness. To take any chances with it now. No, I guess I'd rather go on dreaming about our...
I'm glad you see things my way. Now, come along, Peepy. Aren't you coming, dear?
Go ahead, I'll be right over.
Oh, no.
Say, why don't you go over and mother Mr. Beardsley for a while? He's probably very lonely.
Oh, yes, the poor man. That might be a nice thing to do. Oh, Sidney, you must forgive my quick temper. But as I always say, a sharp tongue is the penalty of a keen brain. Now, don't be long, will you, dear? Bring the milk. I'll be waiting for you.
If her son was justified and... Oh, Sidney, honey. Say, come on over and play that tune for me, will you? Oh, come on, baby.
I don't feel like playing.
Oh, come on, it'll make you feel better.
Do you always have to have your own way?
That's right. All the world will smile again. Smiles will be in style again. Goodbye to sorrow, the skies will be clear. After tomorrow, dear, let's forget each yesterday. Better times are on the way. No need for sorrow, no need for a tear. After tomorrow, dear, we can't put on airs like millionaires, it's true. After all, who really cares?
While you have me, I have you.
Oh, don't cry, kid. But with all those tears, we won't have to go on a honeymoon to see Niagara Falls.
Sure. It's probably the closest we'll ever get to Niagara Falls. You big mug.
Atta baby. Always comes up wisecracking.
Come on, Pete. You gotta go home now. You mustn't keep your mother waiting.
Oh, just a couple more minutes, Sid.
You gotta go home now.
Oh, but it's so early.
Oh, she's sorry up at me now, and she'll blame me.
Oh, all right, then.
Oh, don't forget the milk. And don't let the cat drink it.
No, I don't drink it either. Good night, boss. See you subsequently.
Is the old lady gone?
Oh, yeah.
See, cow. I could have wrung her neck.
Oh, she's all right. You see, she hasn't got anybody but Pete, and she loves him.
Well, so do you.
Sure I do. But I'm not all alone. You see, Willie, I've got you.
You bet you have. Of course, I'm not as pretty as Pete, but he doesn't love you as much as I do. He couldn't.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, that's so. That fellow don't know what he's getting. Youth, beauty, talent, good family. Well, on your mother's side, anyway. Well, when that guy marries you, he's
going to have a long white beard that he'll trip over.
Hello? Hello? What's the matter? Not so fast. You're so excited, no one could understand you. Sure, she's here.
Who is it?
Pete.
Pete.
What's that? You got a telegram? He got a telegram.
He got a telegram.
What? You got a job? He got a job.
He got a job. Oh, dear God, he got the job. Oh,
Listen.
hello, Pete.
What is
hello,
the job?
Pete. $40 a week.
40.
Tonight. Oh, not tonight. We have to get a license first. And commissions besides.
Commissions
oh,
for
and I have
license?
to get a new dress.
Well, what is
oh,
the
do
job
I
he's
love
got?
you? Oh, more than anything in the world.
Not more than me. What is this
Oh,
job?
I
he's
love
got?
you. Oh, I love everybody.
That's good.
Oh,
What is
Willie,
the
I'm so
job?
happy. Oh, I'm so happy. We don't have to wait any longer.
That's
oh,
fine,
and
but
I
tell
can
me
make
about
the
the
dress
job, please.
myself. What time will you be over? Oh, we can make all our plans tonight. Oh, yeah. After tomorrow, dear. Oh, Mother, isn't that a beautiful song?
I guess you think everything is beautiful today.
Oh, you're right, I do. And tomorrow will be even more beautiful.
Yes. After tomorrow, the whole world will be different.
It sure will. Just think, tomorrow I'll be Pete's wife.
There. That's finished.
Finished? Oh, let me see. Oh, Mother, isn't it beautiful?
Is there anything that isn't beautiful to you today?
What there is, I can't think of it. Yes, Willie. Oh, Mom. What do you want, Willie?
Pete, get back to that paint.
Paint? Haven't you got enough on already?
What do you think of the pulpit? I made it.
Oh, Willie, it's just beautiful.
And after the wedding, we can use it for a bar.
Oh,
Look out, fresh paint.
Oh, Willie, you are a sight.
Hello? Yes? Oh, Mal. You'll have to hurry. What is it? Has anything happened? What's wrong? You've got to tell me, Mal. Listen. Please, Mal. Listen.
Was that Pete?
No. Someone calling the wrong number.
Hey! Open the door for Mrs. Piper's boy. Say, for Pete's sake, open the door. Hello, funny face. Hello, Mother. How's the old headache?
You sure you didn't forget anything?
I never forget anything. Oh, there's your paint, Willie.
All right, thanks.
And there's the wedding cake. And there's the suitcase with my things. And here's a sample of folding chair. The caterer wanted too much, so I got them at the undertaker's. Just as good. And half the price. Oh, there's your wedding bell, dumbbell.
Oh, Pete, you got it.
And Willie.
Yeah?
Don't paint the bell.
I won't.
Yes, sir. That's the very business they're going to put us on the spot under.
That's a fine line of grammar.
Oh, what's grammar to a couple of passionate lovers like us? Now, here's our tickets to Niagara Falls. And here. Get a peek at that. Laugh that off if you can.
Oh, what is it?
Just a drawing room to Niagara Falls. That's all. Just a drawing room.
Listen, have you gone crazy?
I haven't even started. Here. Get a load of this bill folder. Present from the boys at the office. And what's in it? Our expenses for a honeymoon. That's all. Just our expenses.
I'll take care of that.
Gee, what if I was to show you that? Come on, come across with our expenses. Come on. Come across with our expenses now. tonight.
Don't let go. You're
I was. Who's a roughneck?
You are.
You can't call me a roughneck. Come on, take it back. Take it back. You tell me that I'm as gentle as a cooing dove. Come on.
I give up.
Well?
I take it back. You're no roughneck.
What am I?
You're a great big mug. You are my big mug, aren't you?
Nothing else but.
And you do love me, don't you?
Ah, gee, Dumbbell. I love you like nobody's business. Oh, cut the mush, will you?
Oh, so that's it, is
You
it?
got
Come
to
here.
let a fella
Oh, give me
alone.
that.
Oh.
Come
Oh,
here.
you just once more,
No,
eh?
give me that ball.
Once more. You would hit a guy in the jaw, would you?
Don't take me. Don't let me out now. Pete!
Hello, Ma.
Hello, Mrs. Piper.
My poor boy.
What's the matter with me?
I must be brave. Sidney, when you have a son of your own, you'll realize what I'm going through. The time has arrived when there's nothing left for the old mother bird but to watch her young fly away.
Oh, you can't lose us. We'll all be living around here together.
I'll be all alone, with so many things to remind me of my boy in the old home.
Yeah. We've lived in our ancestral 3 rooms for going on 2 months now.
Oh, good afternoon, Miss Piper.
Oh, Mrs. Taylor. Good afternoon. Terrible weather, isn't it?
So muggy. Well, I thought it was a wonderful day. The sun's shining. Why don't you sit here by the window? It's much cooler.
Oh, yes, thank you, dear. That will be best. Oh, I am warm. I guess I must be taking on a little weight. I hate fat people, don't you?
Have you ever thought of dieting?
Oh, yes, but I just love everything so. But as I always say, I can't have my cake and eat it, too. Especially, Sidney, now that you're taking my boy away from me.
Hey, Mom, what have you got there in the box?
Oh, yes, my own little personal wedding gift for Sidney.
You ought to see the yard now.
Be quiet, Willie. Mrs. Piper is just showing us her gift to the bride.
Hi, Mrs. Piper. What is it, a tobacco pouch?
Why, no, it's a... Oh, Willie. I made it with my own hands.
You're quite an artist, Mrs. Piper.
Thank you.
And now, if you'll excuse me, I have to fit this slip on Sidney. Come along, Sidney.
Well, I guess I'd better go and see if everything is all set for the wedding rehearsal.
Pete's always been such a good boy. That's because I've always talked things over with him, frankly.
What do you mean, frankly?
Sex, women, babies.
Does Pete like to talk about those things with you?
Well, no, he doesn't. But I know it's best for a boy's sex education to come from his mother.
Baloney. He found out all about those things from boys long before...
Say, Willie, will
Yeah?
you fix the Victrola?
Yeah. I'll paint it.
No, don't paint it. Fix it.
All right.
Oh, Pete. Pete, my poor boy. You're on the edge of a great and serious experience.
What's the matter? What are you talking about?
Listen, Pete. In every man, in every boy even, there lurks a beast. A beast that can be aroused.
Oh, for cat's sake, Ma.
I fixed it.
Oh, thanks, Willie.
Well, I must be off. You and Sidney've got plans that don't include me. Don't forget me, will you, Petey? Don't put me entirely out of your heart.
They won't forget you.
That's what you think, but you're only a male parent. You couldn't understand. It's pretty, but oh, what it means to me.
You know, I can understand a little about how she feels.
Why, Willie.
No, I'm happy for both of you. Son, you'll take good care of my baby, won't you?
What a chance. She'll be teaching me the lockstep within a week.
Who's that?
Leave it to Mrs. Piper's boy to find out.
You know, I feel kind of dizzy.
Oh, that's painting in the hot sun. Why don't you lie down for a little while?
Yeah, I think I will.
Well, if it isn't the bunch in the office to see their boss get hit behind him. Lucky man. Lucky man. Hiya, Phil.
Hello, Johnny. Thanks. Hello, Phil. Hello, Ruthie. Hello, Anna. Hello, Alan. Oh, you ought to see the backyard. Willie's painted everything.
Including himself.
Come on,
Well, if it isn't little Benny, God's gift to the students.
Poor Pete.
What do you mean, poor Pete?
Because you got to keep necking with the same woman for the rest of your life.
Well, that suits me.
Oh, Pete. Look.
It's some community silver plate, but the gang at the office thought it would be more practical.
Look, salad forks, butter knives, everything. And gosh, half a dozen of each. Now I can give a full-course dinner without washing the silver. And Pete, with our initials, too.
Initials? Not worth a nickel in hock.
Oh, Pete. Pete, aren't you excited? Oh, who could get excited about anything like that? I want you to see everything
How do you like the picture?
We got it
Elsie. Elsie.
Mal, what is it?
Wait a minute.
Mal, what's wrong?
Listen, Elsie. I'm facing prison disgrace.
What have you done?
I took some of the bank's money to tide me over speculation. I thought I'd be able to put it back in time, but the federal examiners walked in today, and if they find out, they'll make a convict out of me for pretty near the rest of my life.
Oh, my dearest. What are you going to do?
I get away as quickly as I can. I've got a friend in Canada who can fix us up with a passport for South America.
Us?
Yes. And you're going with me. We'll catch the 6 o'clock train for Montreal.
Tonight?
Oh, yes, tonight.
It'll kill Willie.
I took this chance for you, Elsie. You're not going back on me now, are you?
Oh, my darling. You know that if it weren't for you, there wouldn't be anything left for me anywhere.
There'd be nothing left for me either, dear. You've got to come with me. We may be hunted and chased every corner of the earth, but we'll be together.
Couldn't we just wait until after the wedding?
No.
If I only had the nerve.
Well, I'm sorry, dear. I can't wait any longer. I have to go.
Mal. I'm going with you.
Good.
I'll leave a note for Willie.
Yes, that's right.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Get your nice cold lemonade, maize, and shade. Big one, little.
Well, tomorrow's a big day, funny face.
I don't believe it. I never thought we'd live that long.
Let's get started. Is this supposed to be a wedding rehearsal or a hot dog party? Come on, kids, step into it and get your veil on.
Here. How's this? Dear Willie, I hate to do this, but I've got to. I can't stand it any longer. I don't love you, and I do love Jarvis. Goodbye. Please forgive me. Here. I'll put it in his tobacco jar. He'll be sure to find it there. I want you to be good. Don't worry. I'll be there.
There isn't much romance left for either of us. Let's take advantage of it while we're able to. Oh. Hello, Miss Sidney. Did you like that little present I sent you?
Why, yes, thank you.
Well, goodbye. Or rather, so long for a while.
So long. Mother, I want to talk to you.
I've got so much to do.
Oh, Mother. Please. Mother, do you have to have Mr. Jarvis here? Couldn't we get someone else in that room? A woman.
Now, see here, Sidney. We've had all this out before. Just what have you got against him?
Well, I don't like the way he talks to you or looks at you.
Well, you don't, huh? Well, I know why. He's kind. He's considerate. He's decent to me. And you hate that. You've always been so much in love with your father, you hate to see me get anything out of life.
Oh, don't say that.
You've always blamed me for everything. I was a gambling fiend. I was extravagant. Because of me, Willie was a failure. I suppose it had nothing to do with the fact that he was a jellyfish and let everybody walk all over him.
Oh, he's done his best. Kept his job anyway. And last winter when he had that heart attack, the poor fellow dragged himself down to work, a sick man.
Yes, and what about me? I've worked and slaved for you and him from the day that you were born.
Well, I didn't ask to be born.
And I didn't want you.
Oh, Mother. Oh, don't.
I didn't want a baby. I was only a kid myself. I'd never had any fun. I was never in love with your father, and I hated having you.
Oh, stop it! Oh, stop it! You don't know what you're saying!
Oh, yes, I do. You and your father have never known me. I've always been a stranger to you. Go to your father. You're his,
oh,
not mine. He's the one who wanted you.
Oh,
I
Mother,
never did.
don't! Oh, don't!
Telegram, Miss Sidney Taylor.
I'll take it.
Thank you.
What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. Joy and happiness. May all your troubles be little ones. The bunch at the office. I suppose they think that's funny. What's the matter? Anything wrong?
Oh, Pete. You... When we're married, you want me to have a baby, don't you?
Sure.
I mean, you really want one, don't you?
More than anything else in the world. Gee, to see you with a baby in your arms. It'll be... Oh, I don't know. It'll be beautiful, Sidney. Your baby and mine.
Oh, that's what I wanted to hear you say. Oh, Pete, we're going to want our baby.
Sure. But you're not going to get me to wheel any baby carriage around. You can make up your mind to that right now.
Hey, you two!
Yeah, stop it. You've got plenty of time for that after tomorrow.
Oh, wait, I made it myself. I got all the orange sauce and Macy's. We couldn't wait to do it.
Bride and the bridegroom.
Just a beautiful little bride.
Ain't she a beautiful bride? And I have 7 of them, and they're all boys, and good sons too. But they ain't like a daughter.
In the bedroom, please.
Oh, this is funny. No, this is supposed to be serious.
Be serious.
Sydney. Sydney.
Where you going, Mother?
Why, I've got an errand. I'm going over to Miss Gorham's to borrow some extra plates. You think this will be big enough to hold them?
I guess it will.
I didn't mean what I said, Sydney. I don't know what got into me. Will you kiss me and call it square? Bye.
Say, your old lady kissed you. What's the matter with her?
I don't know.
Why, you're trembling. Well, don't worry. She'll be all right when the wedding is over. Come on.
Hello? Hello? No, she isn't. Is that you, Jarvis? What? Hello? Hello? Sydney.
I'll ask Mrs. Green. She ought to know. She was married 4 times.
Willie. Willie.
Here, let's get him up here.
Is he dead?
No, another one of those heart attacks. I'll get Dr. Sullivan across the street.
Oh, what's the matter with him? Oh, what's the matter with him?
Hello?
Oh, Daddy.
Washington 7,
Oh, Daddy.
6452. Hello? Hello, Dr. Sullivan? Come right over to Willie Taylor's place right away. Yeah, quick.
Oh, I'm so ashamed.
Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. But listen, kid, you gotta keep your head. We gotta save the old man.
Hello, Sidney. What's the matter? Willie had another one of those attacks?
Yes, Doctor. He'll live, won't he?
It's one of those heart attacks, all right. You need the best attention if you want him to have a chance.
Oh, we want him to have every chance. What's got to be done?
You've got to get him to a hospital. I'd like a specialist this time. I don't know how you're fixed financially.
Oh, we're all right. We want Willie to have the best there is.
Well, I'll call for an ambulance.
Oh, they're going to take him away.
The doctor knows the right thing to do.
Hello, give me a chickering for 2928.
Gee. It's lucky we got the old marriage fund.
Yeah.
going to clean us out again.
No, what of it? The old man's a great fella.
And so are you, Pete. You're a great fella.
Sure. Sure I am. I'm a hell of a fella. Come on, kid. You gotta buck up.
Oh, Sidney! Oh, Sidney!
Yes, Mrs. Piper?
You going out, dear?
Yes, I'm going to run down to the drugstore for some medicine. Do you mind staying with Willie?
Well, of course not. Haven't I been doing this for the last 6 months?
Yes, you've been awfully kind.
Oh, it's nothing at all. I love to have people sick, so I can do things for them. You tell Willie I'm ready to tell his fortune.
Be sure to make it a good one. Remember, Willie's partial to blondes.
Oh, God.
Want any help, Willie?
Yes, please straighten it with you.
Sure. Now stand still so I can fix it. There.
You think she's really coming, don't you?
Sure.
I mean, she wouldn't have signed a letter as ever Elsie. She didn't mean it, would she?
You want her back, don't you, Dad?
I can't think of anything else but her. And I've been thinking, you know, maybe if I'd been a better husband, more of a hustler, things might have been different. But when she comes back, I'm going to turn over a new leaf. How do I look?
You look swell. Mrs. Piper's waiting outside to tell your fortune. Now, don't quarrel with her again, will you, Willie?
No. Why should I quarrel with her? No.
Oh, there you are, Willie. All ready for you.
You know, every time you tell my fortune, it gets worse and longer.
Oh, now. To your house. Not so good. To your heart. Not so good.
I know that.
What you do expect. Not so good.
Did you cut those cards?
Now.
You're telling my misfortune.
Oh, here's a good one. What you don't expect. A visitor. A dark man is coming in carrying something. Something heavy. Now, who could that be?
The Iceman. He's the only one who brings anything here.
Oh, Willie. My cards showed a wedding.
For the kids?
Mm-mm. For me.
Yeah, I know. That old chewing gum guy.
He's not old. He's just in the prime of life.
Yeah. About 300 pounds of prime beef. Why don't you marry the poor old thing and put him out of his misery?
Oh, I don't know. There's Pete. I'm afraid of what he might think.
Pete'd be tickled to death.
What?
Sure. To see you happy
Oh, but he'd be losing his mother.
and gaining a father.
Well, there is something to that. Oh, but don't bother me about it now. Oh, money, money, money. Make a wish.
I wish I had some.
Oh, Willie, now, cut the cards. Don't look at
I'm
it.
looking for that money you were talking about. You don't know it. I'm worried to death about money. Every cent those two kids saved going for my doctor's bills, I tell you, we're pretty close to a tragedy.
What tragedy?
Your boy and my girl, waiting and waiting for each other, almost to the breaking point.
Well, of course, with you an invalid.
I know I ought to cut my wrist with a razor blade.
What?
Yes, and I'd do it, too. Only I've got a hunch that Sidney would blame herself for the rest of her life. Now, if you and your friend Beardsley would get married,
We can't.
couldn't you marry someone?
No. No, I can't think of my own happiness. I've got to consider Pete. You see, he has only me to support now. But if he gets married, he'll have you and Sidney and me.
I think they ought to get married now, and to hell with both of us.
Why, Willie Taylor, how dare you talk to me like that? It's your fault.
My fault?
Yes.
Well, if you were any kind of a mother, you'd have gone and lived with them long ago. And they'd be married now and happy.
Well, it's the first time ever anybody accused me of not being a good mother. I spent my whole life in taking care of him. I've never left him.
That's the trouble. You've never left him.
Well, that's more than can be said of Sidney's mother. I never ran away from my husband.
No, he ran away from you. Now he's resting in peace.
Well, at that, I guess I made a better wife than yours did. If your wife had been a little more like me.
I never would have married her.
I wish I'd never got mixed up with you and your old family.
So do I.
Well, Willie Taylor, if that's all you've got to say, I'm not going to stay here and be insulted. I'm going home.
Good.
And I'm not coming back in a hurry either.
Good.
And I'm not going to speak to you again as long as I live.
Good.
And if I can, I'm going to move out of the neighborhood.
Good.
Oh, I never thought.
Well, Gigolo, so you won't take me to the dance tonight, hmm?
Nope.
Still the same good old faithful Pete.
Uh-huh. Good old faithful palsy-walsy Pete. But I'll say one thing for you, Betty. You never get ruled off for trying.
Well, ain't that something?
Hello, funny face. Lost your tongue?
Pete, you don't like any other girl, do you?
Well, I should say not. Say, what in the heck are you driving at?
Well, I just saw you watching Betty, and the way you looked at her legs.
Huh?
You look kind of funny.
Gee, I can't help looking funny. I was born that way.
Oh, don't, Pete. I'm serious. I've thought about it often.
About what?
Well, I thought... Listen, Pete. Why can't we have a holiday together?
A what?
Well, why can't we go away somewhere together? We could come back and no one'd ever know.
Say, what in the name of heaven are you...
Well, wouldn't you?
No. And neither would you. I hope I don't know what you're talking about, but I think I do. Listen, Sid. You wouldn't want to do anything like that, would you?
Oh, no, I wouldn't. But I love you, Pete. And I know man's different.
Different from what?
Oh, from a girl. I mean a nice girl.
Why, you poor little kid. Somebody's been telling you a lot about the difference in habits between men and women. Self-control. Well, maybe it's true. And then again, maybe it's a lot of applesauce. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, a person's on the level. It's got nothing to do with sex. They're just on the level, that's all. Get me?
I think so. But I just wanted you to know I'd do anything for you, Pete.
Don't you think you have? Now, don't you worry your poor little head about me. I'm all right. And I'm going to wait, Sid. I'm going to wait for you until hell freezes over. Maybe we'll get a cold spell sooner than we expect. Hello, Ma.
Oh, Sidney, I want to talk to you alone.
I'll be inside with Willie.
Sidney, Willie and I have just been having a serious talk about things.
Well, don't worry. Everything's going to be all right.
But will it? You see, I'm thinking of my boy.
Yes?
Yes. It's nearly 4 years now that he's been tied to you and your troubles. It isn't fair to Pete. Even Willie says the poor boy's near the breaking point. I want you to set him free.
Well, you don't know what you're asking. I love Pete more than anything in the world.
Then prove it by setting him free. I was always right to be against this engagement. As I always say, the proof of a pudding's in the eating. And you can't deny that matters have been going from bad to worse. Now your mother's coming back, there'll be no end to your troubles.
Please leave my mother out of this.
Why should I? Did she consider you and Pete when she ran away with that man? After all, you're your mother's daughter. And in marrying Pete, you'll be fastening the disgrace on him. No decent mother would have done that. I'm sorry to say it, but she's a bad lot.
You leave my mother alone. You hear? Leave my mother alone.
Well, how do I look?
Rudy Valley's got nothing on you.
Well, I thought maybe a little louder tie, you know, with stripes.
I get you. Goodbye, Ty. Hope it fits you.
Thanks.
What's the matter, kid?
Pete, I've been thinking a lot about our future. The more I think, the more hopeless it seems. It's always tomorrow. Tomorrow that never comes. So I've decided the best thing is not to get married.
Are you kidding or are you crazy?
You see, I've got Willie to think of. Maybe he'll never be able to work again, and then there's my mother coming back. Pete, let's just be good friends. Let's forget about everything else.
That's easy. Now tell me what my mother said.
Nothing that wasn't true about us.
Exactly what did she say?
Oh, please don't ask me any more questions.
I know she's at the bottom of this. Now you tell me what happened out there.
Oh, please go. I can't bear any more. Just go. No. Oh, Mother. Oh, I'm so glad.
I just saw Pete outside. He looked so strange. What's wrong?
Oh, everything's wrong.
That's why I came. I want to help you and Pete. Sidney, do you mind? I'd like to speak to Willie, alone.
Yes, baby, for a little while. Won't you?
Of course. He's been awful sick.
Won't you sit down, Elsie? I got an idea of what you're going to tell me.
I'm sorry, Willie.
Are you still with that fella? What are you planning to do?
He's free now. His speculation turned out all right. He was able to sell and pay back all the money he borrowed.
Borrowed?
Yes, borrowed. We're going to get married as soon as the divorce is final. Then, we're sailing for South America.
Gonna marry him. You know, Elsie, we went through an awful lot together. You and me. And I suppose you just came back to say goodbye for old time's sake.
I came because I knew there wasn't any money. And because Sidney had to postpone her marriage again. Willie, take this.
What is it?
$1,000 bond.
Where'd you get it?
What's the difference? If it'll help Sidney and Pete and you...
No, take it away. Give it back to him.
Willie, please be sensible. Be practical.
No. I never amounted to very much in my life, but I couldn't do that. Take his money.
Oh, Willie, please.
No.
It will help Sidney and Pete to get married, and you.
No.
You're as stupid as you ever were. No wonder you never amounted to anything. Will you take it, please, for Sidney's sake?
No.
Is she gone?
I'm never going to see her again.
Oh, Dad. My Dad. How could she hurt you so? How could she?
Don't judge her too harshly. She's found something I could never give her.
She didn't wait. She forgot me. She didn't even say goodbye.
Oh, but she wanted to, baby. But couldn't face it. She came here to tell us how sorry she was for what she was doing. So, you see, she sort of tried to do the right thing. To her way of thinking. And didn't, after all, forget us.
Now, cut the mush and listen to me, Mr. Beardsley. I want to know what your intentions are toward my mother.
My intentions?
You've toyed with her affections long enough.
How awful, Pete. How can you do this to me? You're interfering with sacred feelings.
Just a drop of your own medicine, Mother dear, that's all. Now, I'm the head of this family, and I want to know if you're the proper husband for my mother.
Oh, Pete, he's quit drinking. He's such a good man. And as I always say, such a good provider.
Yeah? Willie Taylor tells me that he doesn't carry a cent of insurance. That's for his being a good provider. All I know is that you hornswoggle $100 out of me to finance him.
Why, Pete, what's got into
The
you?
boy's within his rights. I've no use for most of the young fellows I see around here, but I like you, Pete. Even admire you. I've watched you, and lots of times I've wished you were my own son.
Why don't you try to soft-soap me?
I like the way you stuck to that girl of yours, and the way you treated Willie, too.
That's my business. All I want to know is if you're serious toward Mom.
And that's my business. But as for that $100 of yours, your investment in the Clove Chewing Gum franchise is worth to you, to date, $740.
On the level?
Absolutely on the level.
When can I get it?
Whenever you want it.
Don't go away. I'll be right back.
And tell that Schlemiel Willie to come around for a policy.
What do you think's happened?
Someone left you some money.
How did you guess it? $740. $740 for that 100 I invested in the chewing gum. And listen, Willie, he's going to take out a policy.
Who?
Beardsley.
He is. Well, I'll go see him and strike him for 1,000.
1,000? Get him for 50. Take his breath away. Tomorrow really is the big day, Dumbbell. Gee, what's the big idea? Acting like that when I've just made a fortune. Come on, quit, will you? Gee, we're not at Niagara Falls yet. That flat we looked at had a shower bath. Shower bath.
I can't hear you.
I said that flat we looked at had a shower bath.
I don't get you.
Well, get this, Dumbbell.
I got that.